Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Ratnaeli Sutanti, and today I would like to make a journal analysis video, and the purpose of making this video is to fulfill the middle term assignment that has been given by Miss Hery Nuraini M.Pd as the lecturer in English for Knowledge and Information 3. So let's check this out. So in this video, I will analyze the journal that related to my mini proposal about reading skill newspaper articles by using Jakarta Post to enhance vocabulary. So this is the journal that I got. The effect of using the Jakarta Post newspaper articles in enhancing vocabulary of English for university students and experimental research. Okay. So for the next one is about the table of contents, and the first one is journal's identity, background of problem, purpose of research, literature review, research method, result and discussion, conclusion, and also the references. So for the next slide, I'm going to explain about the journal's identity first. And for the title, it is the effect of using the Jakarta Post newspaper articles in enhancing vocabulary of English for university students and experimental research. And the source was from English Education, Jurnal Tadris Bahasa Inggris, Volume 9, Number 2, and page 395 until 408. And it was published in 2016. And for the ISSN, for the printed, the number is 2086 until 6003. And for the electronic, it is 2580 and 2580 until 1449. The writer was Rohmatillah from Iain Raden Intan Lampung, Indonesia. And then for the next slide is about the background of problems. So in learning as foreign language, people need sufficient vocabulary to express themselves, have to know a lot of words. The students sometimes find difficulties in mastering vocabulary, such as how to pronounce the words correctly, how to write and spell it, and also how to use it in grammatical pattern, because vocabulary is really essential in reading skill. And the researchers also found that the students felt difficult to remember the words, not only remember the words, but also use the words based on the context. And then the students will get many vocabularies by conducting reading activity. That motivation gives task and practice by involving reading activity in order that the students can understand word by word meaning of words. For the next one is about the purpose of research. So to overcome all of the problems based on the background of problems, and many method, technique, and media can help the students in acquiring new vocabulary. And one of the media is by using a media. Here the researcher tried to use the newspaper articles in Jakarta Post. So the purpose of the research is to find out the effect of using the Jakarta Post newspaper articles to enhance their vocabulary through reading. So basically, Jakarta Post is the most famous daily English newspaper in Indonesia that has been published in here. So from the articles that students can enhance their vocabulary by reading it. And moreover, students can learn every vocabulary that they got from the newspaper because it is a rich, authentic material. Newspaper can help instill the reading habit among the students with its interesting as well as help them in language learning. And then for the next one is about the literature review. So based from the journal, the literature review from M.Pd in Economy, who underlines the importance of vocabulary by saying no matter how well the students learn grammar, no matter how successfully the sound of alto are mastered, without words to express a wide range of meanings, communication in an alto just cannot happen in any meaningful way. And for the last one is from Bromberg in Puspitaningrum. It stated that vocabulary is a knowledge of words and the ability to speak and write with proficiency and essential to one's intellectual development, achievement, and also enjoyment. From this statement, it can be inferred that people cannot read a book, newspaper, and also the magazine, and people cannot write letter, poem, novels, communicate with other people, and listen to the other people without vocabulary. And then for the research method, this is about location, method, participants, and also instrument collected. So for the location in this journal, it stated that the location was in Institut Agama Islam Negeri Raden Intan Lampung, on Jalan Endoro Suratmin, Sukarame, Bandar Lampung. And for the method, it is using an experimental research or quasi-experimental research. And for the participants, there were 2 classes of the first semester students of English education of Institut Agama Islam Negeri Raden Intan Lampung in the academic year of 2016 and 2017. An instrument collected, the researcher used a set of vocabulary tests to support the data of the research. According to Brown, defines a test is a method of measuring a person's ability of knowledge in a given domain. So in conducting this research, the researchers apply some procedures as follows. The first one is planning and then reporting. For the planning, the procedure of making planning of this research were as follows. The first one is finding subject of research. The researcher chose the students of the first semester from English language education as a subject of the research, and 1 class as experimental class and 1 class as a control class. So there were 2 classes in this subject of the research. And then for designing the instrument for the research, the instrument of this research is vocabulary test. The material consists of root, prefix, noun, suffix, adjective, suffix, compound noun, compound adjective, verb followed by preposition, and adverb followed by preposition. And then for the third one is doing try out to the best. Tryout is conducted to identify how accurate and effective it is the test before they use to collect data, the research, and identify whether the test can be administered or not. And then for the fourth step is administrating the pre-test. The pre-test is conducted before the treatments, and the test was aimed to know the students' vocabulary mastery before giving the treatment. In this test, the students are given the vocabulary test that consists of 50 items. And for the next one is conducting the treatment. The treatment given in the 3 meetings. In the treatment, the researcher as the teacher teaches the students using newspaper articles. And for the last one is about administrating the post-test. Post-test is conducted after the treatment, and this test is aimed to know the students' vocabulary mastery after giving the treatment. And then for the last one is about the reporting, the last procedure. The last procedure is reporting. In making reporting, there were 2 steps. In analyzing the result, the researcher analyzed the data that are obtained from the result of pre-test and then post-test. And then for the last one is making the report of findings. So move to the next slide. It is about the result and also the discussion. So for the first one, I'm going to explain about the result of the research. There are several results that has been conducted from this research, and for the first one is about the result of pre-test in control class. The result of analyzing the data in pre-test showed that mean was 33.227 while standard deviation was 15.682. Minimum score was 14 and maximum score was 74. From the data, it can be seen that the ability of students in control class were still low. And for the second one is result of pre-test in experimental class. The result of analyzing the data in pre-test of experimental class showed that the mean was 51.55 while the standard deviation was 14.299 and minimum score was 20 and maximum score was 87. And then for the third one is the result of post-test in control class. The result of analyzing the data from the post-test in control class showed that the mean was 64.10. Standard deviation was 14.299, minimum score was 20 and maximum score was 87. And then for the fourth step, for the fourth result is result of post-test in experimental class. The result of analyzing the data from the post-test in experimental class showed that the mean was 76. Standard deviation was 14.019 and minimum score was 90 was 40 and maximum score was 97. And then for the next one is about the data analysis. As you can see from the PowerPoint slide, the researchers wanted to compare the mean from experimental and control class. So in here there are 2 tables. The table 1 is the result of normality test and also the result of homogeneity test. In experimental design, the technique analyzes data is experimental group and control group pre-test, post-test design. It means that it has 2 variables investigated in this research are Jakarta Post newspaper and also the vocabulary mastery. So, based on the calculation of the normality and homogeneity, the results showed that the data are normal and homogeneous. The researcher continued to calculate by using independent t-test, and therefore the researcher computed independent t-test by using SPSS. And then for the next slide is about the result of hypothetical test. As you can see in the PowerPoint slide over there, while the criteria of acceptance is or rejection or hypothesis are HO is accepted if sigma bigger than alpha is 0.05 and HA is accepted if sigma less than alpha is 0.05. And then in here there is a table, the result of independent sample test, and it can be seen that the value of significance generated sigma was 0.001, less than alpha is 0.05. It means that HA is accepted based on the computation. It can be concluded that there is significant effect of using the Jakarta Post newspaper articles to enhance vocabulary of English for university students. So for the next slide is about the discussion. So from the result of the research, it showed that the result of students' post-test in experimental class was higher than in the control class. The previous research by Umam showed that the finding alternative hypothesis was accepted and null hypothesis was rejected because T0 bigger than T-table. And then in experimental class, the students were taught by using newspaper. In teaching learning process, the teacher asked the students to analyze the text and find out some vocabulary related to the topic. Verb followed by preposition, root, prefix, suffix, adjective, suffix, compound noun, compound adjective, and adverb followed by preposition. Based on the result of the calculation, the students are scored increased. It means that the newspaper have significant effect to increase the vocabulary. Therefore, it can be inferred that the teaching English vocabulary by using Jakarta Post newspaper articles has significant influence and more effective than using the textbook. And then for the next slide is about the conclusion. So for the conclusion about this research, as the result showed that the p-value was 0.001 less than alpha is 0.05, it means that the HA is accepted and HO is rejected. And the researcher concluded that there is a significant effect of using the Jakarta Post newspaper articles to enhance vocabulary of English for university students. And for the suggestions, based on the result of the study, it showed that the teaching media will affect students' mastery and vocabulary. Therefore, the teacher should encouraging them to be active learning and the vocabulary and motivate them. By using the newspaper, the students are hoped to master and more enthusiastic and active, creative, and can share ideas dealing with the task. The student can be as independent as the learner in learning the vocabulary. And for the next slide is about the references. Here are the references that I took from the journal. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this video would be useful for those who want to learn about the material. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye.